it's all kicked off again, hasn't it? Tyson Fury goes on social media, a bit more calm, bit more measured, to talk about where they're at with, Fury fighting AJ on December the 3rd here in, the last we heard it was going to be in Cardiff, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, as I say, he was more calm, more measured, and he was saying, 60-40, and it would be a co-promotion, etc., etc. All barriers have been removed. And then Frank Warren joined us just a very short time ago to reaffirm that.
It's really simple now. We've dealt with every single issue. There aren't any issues. And if there is anything, which we don't know about, it's because they haven't sent the contract back. But as far as we're concerned, as far as everyone's concerned, certainly as far as DAZN is concerned, everybody's happy. So it really boils down to this, in my experience, is Anthony Joshua either wants the fight or he doesn't want the fight. And that's really simply as simple as that. He either fancies it or he doesn't fancy it.
So, Spence, we know you, without putting you on the spot, but we know you speak to AJ all the time.
Yeah.
So
listen, I'll tell you exactly where we're at on this one, Jim. I know 100% Anthony Joshua wants this fight. It's not something that he's trying to avoid. It's not something that he's trying to get out of. Anthony Joshua, December the 3rd, wants the fight. We heard Tyson Fury saying that ESPN have now is sorted, DAZN is sorted, BT Sport is sorted. I thought that was a main stumbling block, the broadcasters, etc. Frank Warren said, they're happy with the splits of 60-40, 50-50 return if AJ wins. So everything's in place. I don't see what the hold-up is here, if I'm totally honest, because I know the fighters both want it.
Is AJ the sort of guy that would say to Eddie Hearn, I want it, do it?
Absolutely. He said, I think the problem is here, it's beyond Anthony Joshua. The problem here that we've got is you've got Matchroom there, you've got 258 Management, which is Anthony Joshua's management group. There's a lot of people involved behind the scenes of what's going on. The fighter himself 100% wants to fight. Tyson Fury wants to fight. What's the problem? It seems like the contract, the main stumbling blocks in the contract. Simon, you'll know better about this with on the contract side of things, but for me, it seems the main problems, the main stumbling blocks have been sorted, so I don't know what the hold-up is.
Would there be any truth, Spencer, in throwing this out, that maybe some people in his management team are nervous about Joshua going in against Fury? Because if he loses, AJ's got a bunch of money in the bank, but they've still got to crack on working.
Well, Jim, when we go through the layers of all this, which we have, and you're getting closer to it because they've had that contract for some 10 to 12 days, and like I say, I know AJ wants to fight. So when you go through the layers of it, you go, what's the hold-up? Perhaps it's, someone in the team or someone in the management group that is just maybe a little bit nervous about going through with this fight,
You've got, people look, you've got to get balance in context. And whenever you side on one side, other people will come piling into you on the other. It is not unreasonable, whoever it is, whether it's Anthony Joshua putting a deadline or Tyson Fury putting a deadline, if you've got a fight in 9 weeks' time, it's not unreasonable to put a deadline down saying we need a contract signed because people have got to be in preparation for a fight in 9 weeks' time. Now, in my view, someone is running a clock down somewhere, so one of them pulls out, so the other one can say he pulled out. And I think it's Matchroom. Mm-hmm. I think Matchroom are running the clock down. Anthony Joshua may well want this fight, but Anthony Joshua is captain of his own ship. Yeah. He's told us this repeatedly. It's no good doing raps or going out and doing little videos telling people I get my lawyers to do their job and I don't have a dog and bark, metaphorically. You either want to fight or you don't. It's no good saying I'm dignified, I don't wash my linen in public, I never speak about things, I never put somebody down. This has the potential to be the biggest fight in British boxing history, and it has to be conducted in such a way that one side doesn't make allegations about the other side not cooperating, and the other side says nothing about it. Frank Warren comes out and says, I've done a deal. I've done a deal which is unique in terms of I've given them what they wanted. They've got 60-40. It's a voluntary it's a voluntary fight, so they don't have to be a co-pro, but I've given them that too. I've given them transparency on everything from the broadcast deals through to the ticket pricing. They've got everything they want. Yeah. They will not respond. They respond at the last minute. So the accusation is, so we say, Eddie, come on then. If you're controlling your side of the equation, you're negotiating the contract, you'll come and talk to us. Now, he might go and talk with due respect to breakfast because he'll get less of an interrogation than he will with you and I because that's an easier soft landing. Or he talks to us on a day when we've got Tony Sims, Conor Benn's trainer in the room. You can't tell us that you've got a press day for Conor Benn when you've got the bleeding trainer of the fighter in the studio.
Absolutely.
Not on the press day.
Tony Sims is going to join us very shortly. Spencer, this never happened in your day when you were fighting. fighting, but it seems everybody just piles onto social media and says a bit. Now, Tyson earlier this week said the AJ deadline was over and claimed he'll now fight Mahmoud Shah on the 3rd of December. Now, in a bizarre turn of events, in the last few moments, Shah has now called out Fury.
Fury, you are the same like Anthony Joshua. A man is a man. When you say Joshua is out, he is out. You told everyone you won't fight me. Now you are like a duck. Take the fight.
They're all at it.
Well, of course they are. Mahmoud Shah wants that opportunity, doesn't he, to fight the number one, and it's a massive payday. If I'm not mistaken, Mahmoud Shah is not even in the top. I think he's 19th in the WBC rankings or something. You have to be in the top 15 to challenge for the title. So I don't even know where that one's going. It couldn't be for a non-title fight because Fury's not at that stage of his career. You know, he's looking for the big fights. And also, I think he'd get a lot of backlash now if this fight, with Anthony Joshua doesn't materialise and he fights Mahmoud Shah, who fights once every 7 years or something.
Well, here's the thing. No disrespect to him, but who's Mahmoud Shah?
Well, he is the background noise. Yeah, but he's the background noise that are rumbling out of other people's camp that's saying he has no intention to fight Anthony Joshua. He wants to fight Mahmoud Shah. That's a noise that's being started in someone else's camp to justify potentially why they're not coming to the table. The only reason you don't push back, if you're talking about a huge public event, it's not a secret, it's not a private deal, this is a huge public event. You can't just sit there and say, well, we don't discuss these things in public. You've got a huge fight, you've got one promoter going, I'm giving you everything you want, and the other one is a mute. The other one is a mute, and the other one is a walking sound box that goes over to Saudi Arabia and gives us a lecture about how boxing in Saudi Arabia can teach us lessons in the UK, but when it comes to the biggest fight in the UK, he's a mute. Have you ever heard anything so preposterous?
Yeah.
And Anthony Joshua, if you are indeed captain of your ship, it's no good you saying I'm a dignified person, I don't talk about these things in silence. You look like you don't want this fight, and we're being told that categorically the fighter wants this fight.
He does,
and I believe he does.
He does,
but he can't walk around doing silly little raps then, or doing piece to interview while my lawyer does it. Your lawyer works for you, and ultimately, if your lawyer doesn't do his job, it's your fault for employing a lawyer that might be working. And they're all going to say, guaranteed, Fury's at it. He's mixing it up. Fury doesn't want Joshua. He's playing possum with everybody. Well, okay, it's really simple. It's really simple. In a public domain business, come and put Frank Warren back on his heels. Call him a liar.
Simon,
tell him your contract's a piece of rubbish.
You know a lot about contracts. From what you've seen and what you've heard with this contract that's going back and forth, do you think that the main stumbling blocks have now been sorted and it's quite simple to sign this contract?
I can't understand, in a situation where probably the template was a Deontay Wilder contract, which must have been a reasonable contract because it got 3 fights out of it, didn't it?
Yeah.
And the splits and the broadcasters and the co-pro and all of it. Yes, there'll be detail in there, but they won't be contract breaking detail unless you want it to be.
Right.
If you want to do a contract and you really want to do it, you will find a way to do it, specifically when you've got one side. We all know Tyson can play silly buggers at times. We all know that he can get ahead of himself. Right? But in this instance, if you've taken away the primary problem, which is broadcaster, transparency, co-pro and money, please tell me why you won't send contracts back and you have to send them back at 11:30 on a Monday night. Nobody cares that you're in watching Gennady Golovkin and Canelo Alvarez. Get Frank Smith to do it. You've got other people that can do it, right?
Absolutely.
I'm just sending a message to Eddie, and we'll see where it goes. Very polite. That we're kind of at the point of no return now. Eddie, come on, join us. Tell us, is it happening? It's 12:15.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.